Welcome to Contractor Radio, and we're doing a special live version today. We don't usually do it this way. We usually record everything in advance. So anything that is said today, please don't hold it against us. We always love doing these live ones, and today's Contractor Radio is all about helping you optimize your sales out there through technology and products that create better opportunities for you to be successful out in the field, add revenue and profit to your jobs, and kind of give you a little bit of a taste of some of the things you might see at one of our events, like Top Rep, that we do twice a year to help sales professionals close at higher percentages and higher profits, thus making more commissions. My name is Jim Johnson. I'm the host of Contractor Radio and the head coach at Contractor Coach Pro, where we help contractors get control of their business so they can grow their business and find that personal and financial freedom that they've been chasing since they started their business. And I have the largest group of people I've ever had on a podcast before. And these folks are our sponsors at our Top Rep high intensity sales training event that we're going to be doing in Philadelphia on August 23rd and 24th. And the reason that they're our sponsors is because they specifically work with salespeople to optimize what they do out in the field. And so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring on our panelists today, our guests. We're going to talk to them about some of the things we need to be thinking about whenever we look at tools, look at products, how they apply to us, and how they help us do what we do better. And so first off, we've got Charlie Goldberg from Ingage. Charlie, welcome aboard, man. Good to have you.
Hey, Jim. Thanks for having me.
And we got Doug Schatz from Evercommerce. Doug, good to have you on board.
Jim, thank you for having me today.
That's awesome. I'm excited to have you on. I don't think a lot of people know like who Evercommerce. They know a lot of the products and stuff, but they don't know Evercommerce. So it'd be cool to get to know them a little bit. And then we've got Kate Radcliffe from Leap. Hey, Kate, is there anybody that doesn't know you?
If they don't, give me a call.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. See, salesperson right there. Well done. And then we got Mike O'Connell from MOMNT. Mike.
Coach, thanks for putting me in the game.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, well said. Good job. And we also have Andrew Martin from Marlimar. Welcome aboard, Andrew. Andrew's a few minutes late. He has no idea what we're doing, but he'll catch up to speed.
Oh, I've been watching you on Facebook.
Okay, cool. Good. And then we have Steve from Project Map It. Steve, welcome aboard.
Mr. Jim, thanks for having me.
Hey, man, my pleasure. And thank you guys for hopping on board today. And then last but not least, we've got Ty Meredith. Make sure I've got everybody on here. Ty, welcome to the show from Ugly Roof. So good to have you on board.
Thank you very much. Appreciate being here.
Yeah, I was sitting here going, gosh, if we just had one more, and there is supposed to be one more. We'll see if they log in or not. If we had just one more, we would have a whole Hollywood Squares going on here for those old people that know what Hollywood Squares is. It would be a lot of fun to have it filled up that way. But the idea today, and our whole show is about helping contractors do what they do better. And we've been doing a series on sales and some of the things from a practical application of increasing our closing percentages and opportunities. But I wanted to kind of come at it from a technology and products side of things. And so we got a lot of technology folks here. A lot of those technology folks have a product, and then we also have a product in Ugly Roof that helps us add something to what we do in a way that we can add to our bottom line. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to have each one of you kind of go around here, and we'll start with Charlie. And Charlie, I think you can see everybody else's names. Just pick somebody when you're done, all right? Like, so that we can stay in some kind of format here. But introduce yourself, let everybody know what you do, and then what your technology tool or product that you have does for sales folks and companies out there in our industry.
Yeah, happy to kick it off. Hi, everybody. I'm Charlie. I'm with Ingage. So we're a presentation platform to help you guys build interactive in-home sales tools, really put together a powerful customer experience when you're presenting in the home. And what our technology does is allow you to instantly distribute that content out to everyone who needs it. So we're talking your field reps, or we're talking your customers. And more importantly is we also provide valuable analytics to help you guys be more data-driven in building consistency and accountability. So if you're looking for a masterful way to present in the home, take a look at Ingage. Looking forward to meeting everybody. And with that, I'll pass it to Kate at Leap.
I knew you were going to do that. See, it's a natural fit. Leap is a point of sale software on its, the lowest end, but on its highest end, it's going to run your sales process from start to finish with all the integrations that we offer. It's a document builder. It integrates with Engage along with many, many others, your CRMs. It's one of those things that I don't have enough time to tell you about it, but definitely looking forward to talking a little bit about just really creating that solution for your team that makes it super easy to quick sell. And I'm going to pass it to Doug.
Thank you, Kate. Hey, everybody. I'm Doug Schatz from the Socius marketing team. We are a digital marketing agency that's been working with contractors for over 15 years. We take a really data-driven approach to everything that we do every day. And we really focus on, trying to drive high-quality leads for the customers that we work with, because these days you can't afford to give up on any leads that are out there, particularly as we enter some uncertain economic times. And so Socius brings a flavor of marketing that really highlights high quality leads through websites, search engine optimization, Google ads, things of that nature, as well as social media marketing. And it's something we're very proud of. And we really have 15 plus years of experience bringing that to the table. Gentlemen, I want to hand it off to somebody here.
Andy will take it.
Please take it away. Take it away.
So I got you off the hook there. Marlimar Mobile, we're all about helping home improvement companies connect first with the consumer to help then tee up that salesperson when he or she enters that house. It's the most intimidating part of the consumer process. There's a stranger coming to the door, and we want to make sure that they know who you are. It's all about meeting them through their cell phone, communicating to them via text message, to pull them into the conversation, to break the ice, to give them an idea who that salesperson is, and improve, as Charlie said, improve that customer experience to give those salespeople a better chance to establish rapport and to present their great products. With that said, Mike, I'm going to hear about financing.
Hey, Andy, I'm the guy to talk about it. Everybody, Mo with MOMNT here. Talk a little bit about affordability. And what we've seen today is that your consumers are asking for a price of the goods and services that you provide. And the best way to present a price is to give them options. Now, if we can give your consumers options of how they can afford you in a way that's aligned with you in the way that you go to business and your cash flow, it's the best fit for everyone. So the technology exists today to get your customers approved, to get them to move forward with your business. And let's overcome the cash price. And let's talk about the different ways that your consumers are currently buying other goods and services in the industry. In other industries. And let's align them with how they're buying. Let's add that as a feature into your business. And with that, my old friend Steve is going to talk about this wonderful tool he's got.
My man, Mike. Thank you, sir. Steve Spence, Managing Director at Project Map It. We're an all-in-one solution, digital mapping portfolio where you can take all of your past projects that you've done, place them on an interactive map. So you're using your past successes to hopefully easily land new successes. So interactive in that, it's what all customers are always looking for when you're at a sales appointment, locations to show your local reputation, photos of the past work that you've done, reviews from those customers. It's an interactive map that gets easily embedded onto a website. We work with CRMs, very similar to Leap. We have some integrations. My good friend Charlie up there, our map easily embeds right into an Ingage presentation software presentation. So that's what we are. We help with SEO. Jim mentioned that earlier. So it uses all the metadata that's on that map, locations, photo metadata as far as latitude and longitude and stuff like that. So we can help increase your ability to be seen online easier as well. And with that, I don't see names, so I'm going to pass.
I got you on it. We got one left. We say the ugliest for like. No, just kidding.
Exactly.
Tyler with Ugly Roof. Why don't you give us a little rundown?
That's right on the money, buddy. So we are roof rejuvenation. So our product is different. There's a lot of techie products that we're discussing here. Our product is an actual product for the roofing contractor. It's another tool in their toolbox to help the homeowner in this, as the gentleman mentioned before, in this quasi recession that we're going to be going through. It's pretty much a recession-proof product, a nice add-on for existing roofing contractors to add to their business. It's another tool in their toolbox, and it can really help that contractor take their closing percentages through the roof, take their bottom line and profit margins through the roof as well. And it's done that personally for our roofing business that we have, a roofing business in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's done that for us, and it's doing that now for all the dealers that we have.
Awesome. So I'm going to step in for somebody that was, for whatever reason, unable to make it today. Sebastian, I don't know if everybody's met Sebastian or not, but Sebastian's with a company called Rilla Voice. Everybody calls it Rilla for short. And it's a sales artificial intelligence tool that tracks the audio interaction between a salesperson and a homeowner while they're at the kitchen table or at the front door, and then gives them feedback based off of artificial intelligence through the language that they use for what's being successful and maybe what's not being successful, and thus making your team better and better over time with data. And so guys and gals and products and technology, what are some of the things that you see? I'm going to talk from a technology standpoint first. What are you seeing from a technology standpoint that people are really asking for right now that you may solve for them out there in the field? Anybody want to take that first question?
I can.
Go ahead, Kate.
So from our end, we are right in that middle of the sales process. We're not at the beginning where you're sourcing out leads like Socius, but we're also not at the end where we're resulting or doing financing. We're right in that middle bit. And the big thing that we're seeing is that we want ease of use. And the way that I kind of describe it is when you walk into a room, actually like the one behind me, and there's several lights in there. If you flick a light switch, you want all of the lights to come in on that room. You don't want just one light to come on. So with that, it's the same idea with an integration, right? You want to make sure that you have all of your tools in place to not only make a sale easier, but also to make training and onboarding easier. With higher retention issues, you've got to be able to train quickly and on the fly. And when you have a fully integrated system, you're going to be able to do that quicker.
I'll kind of chime in here. You know, a lot of people I've seen, you know, I've been with Project Map It for 4 years, and I've seen a trend to the presentation models and different presentations that sales reps are using in the home. And I think, you know, a professional presentation is something that they need, right? Like you have old school contractors, which is totally fine with the flip books and stuff like that, or they just
it's not fine.
They have paper invoices and that's all they use, but it really is what's going to let you stand out over the other two free estimates or estimates that are going to come to that same house. So you know, with Ingage, Leap, those are great presentations. Engage, great presentation, you know, model that just kind of lets you stand out over the competition. With Project Map It, one of the things we solve also allows a contractor to send this digital portfolio to the customer, the homeowner, before they even get out to that house for that presentation. So that customer, that homeowner can see, oh, look at all this work they've done in our area. Check out some pictures. We're a visual society now. We want immediate access to information. So having a thing that you can, a portfolio like ours, where you can send it before you even get out there, or once you're there and it's in your presentation, like an Engage presentation, it just automatically lets you stand out over the competition. It shows a little bit more professionalism. And drone photos are huge these days, right? Like contractors drone everything these days. And, you know, that's another thing I've seen. Drone photos are starting to make you look a little bit more professional than just the typical photo you took with your phone, you know, from the side of the street.
To piggyback on that Engage conversation, when we set dealers up in the country, they get a customized presentation from our company, helping them to sell our product. But we use Ingage, and they get that along with their dealership, and it's a game changer to have that interactive conversation and sales presentation. Hey, Sebastian.
Hello.
Hollywood Squares has now made it to the front page. We've got our 9 here now. Maybe Brady Bunch, however you guys want to look at it. Sebastian, I did a quick introduction for you already because I had faith. I figured you were probably working with a client, helping them be successful.
Yeah.
So I gave a brief rundown of Rilla. We'll let you get more to that and note that not only what the product does, but the data it captures here in just a second. But we've been answering a bit of a question of what people are seeing from a technology and product aspect of what people are asking for and some of the changes that we've seen over the last few years. But there's an order of process. There's this order of process that happens from lead gen to prospecting and nurturing to presenting to proposal and offers and giving offers that people can actually afford. And then finally, referrals and reviews and those type of things. And we kind of cover that gamut here with this group, like working together. If you put them all together, you cover the whole thing pretty well. Those of you that are lead gen, okay, so let's focus on you. So I think that's Evercommerce would be in there. Project MapIt probably plays a bit of a role in here. What are you seeing successful for contractors when it comes to generating more opportunities, more people raising their hand saying, hey, I want to get more information from you? What are you seeing to be successful with that?
Yeah, it's a really good question, Jim. I think that what we've seen over the past couple of years is that demand is as high as it's ever been before, right? So there are more homeowners out there looking for the services that contractors provide than ever before. And discerning business owners have to be really focused on how they generate those leads and the channels that they bring those leads in from, so that they're focused on quality over quantity, because quantity hasn't been the issue more recently. And I think using your marketing dollars to focus on programs like SEO, where you're going to get higher quality leads. It's something that has a bit of lead time associated with it. It takes time to generate those leads, is something we recommend, because the biggest belief we have at Socius and Evercommerce is when you're busy is when you need to focus on your marketing. When you're slow is when it's too late, right? And so I think that a lot of folks we work with need to be preparing for, yes, this fall, but also early next year. And using smart strategies to maximize every single lead that comes in, and being really focused on the cost per lead. That's the metric that we're focused on when we work with our customers.
So just to have a bit of input there, that's one of those metrics I've always tracked: cost per lead and then cost per acquisition too. Like those are two really big ones. But there's this cost per opportunity. Like there's one kind of in between that identifies as more of a quality opportunity than necessarily just a lead. Like you said, you can generate a bunch of leads, but if they're not very good leads, or you're competing against a whole bunch of other people for that opportunity with those leads, is it really a good lead to generate a whole bunch? I'd rather have higher quality and less leads than just a whole bunch of leads that I'm paying for that I don't have opportunity with. Do you guys track any of that? Is there anything that you do metric-wise or that you've done to help contractors understand that a little bit better?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Part of that is operational, right? So my number one rule is everybody's got to pick up the phone. We can get the phone to ring, and I know there's other folks on this call who can do that too, but they got to pick up the phone when that rings.
How fast should they pick up the phone?
Oh, I'm a big believer in 5 minutes. If you get a form submission on your website, you got to get back to that person in 5 minutes or less. The impact that has, Sebastian thinks it's 3. Okay, 3 minutes or less. But the impact that has is astronomical on that customer and the experience that they have with you, right? So, from an opportunity standpoint, I really like to say, cost per lead depends on the services you're providing and the way that you're spending your marketing dollars. But We're big believers that when we deliver reports to our clients on a monthly basis and we have conversations with them every single month, we're looking at that cost per lead to make sure that it's tracking year over year and month over month to provide as much value as possible.
Awesome. So we actually, like, we have a lot of people watching. I don't know if you guys can see the comments coming through on your, so I can see them on mine. I'll be the facilitator here. Lots of people just, a lot of kudos to you guys from Tim Brown and Reggie Brock and some of the Jonathan Broach is out there watching as well. But there was a question from Dima. Aren't images taken on a smartphone and directly uploaded through the GMB app already geotagged? And so I think that would be directed at Project Mapit. Is that actual?
That is correct.
That is correct. So what value does Project Mapit bring when maybe I could just do that on my own?
No, so we have a so with our SEO component, which, to be fully transparent, we just deployed like 2 weeks ago. So we're going to be getting analytics on that over the next 3 months and stuff, so that we do have that proof of concept. But with Project Mapit, and I'm not going to take up a lot of time, but we've built out like a public profile page that gets indexed through Google that's on our server and backlinked to your website. So everybody kind of gets that SEO juice. So those pictures, that metadata on the pins and all that kind of stuff, specifically the written testimonials, whether it's through Google, Facebook, we sync with those two review platforms, and we are actually our own review platform. So, you know, to leave a Google review, it's hard if you don't have a Gmail account to log into. Same thing with Facebook. With Project Mapit, we don't have a login necessary to leave a review. So all that written content helps with that SEO.
I really like how, like, in the Ingage app, where when I'm presenting, I can actually show like where all of my projects are. I can do it right from within what I'm presenting with, instead of going outside somewhere else and trying to get to my Google, my business page, or wherever else, and then teaching this whole, like, hey, you got to do this, then this, then this. When it's embedded in something, makes it easy, almost idiot proof to show that. I think that's highly valuable. So that's kind of lead gen, and the part they play is their job is, hey, somebody raise their hand and just say I'm interested. When they do rate, I would argue you got like 5 seconds. And the reason I would say that, the speed to lead, is absolutely important. And it really doesn't matter what kind of opportunity you have. That person could have organically searched you. They could have been SEO'd to you. They could have been something from a Facebook ad. Maybe it's from one of these lead aggregators. It doesn't matter. Once that lead comes to you, when they make that suggestion, they raise their hand. If they don't get somebody to, like, it's a teacher in classroom, like, you raise your hand, she ignores you and asks somebody else, right? Well, you're probably not going to ask anymore. The same type of thing with this is, I've got my hand up, nobody's paying attention to me, nobody's paying attention. Okay, I'm going to go put my hand up somewhere else. And I always relate it to, like, if you were going to call and get your, schedule a barber, or a stylist, or I don't know who you have like that barber back in the, I don't have any of them anymore. Like, I didn't know. But if you have hair and you were going to get a haircut, and you call your haircutting place and say, hey, I'd like to get an appointment. And the person on the other end of the line said, no problem. I will have one of the stylists call you back to schedule that. And they'll call you within the next few minutes. Great, click. I pick up the phone again, I call the next one. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to solve my problem right now. I don't have time to solve my problem later. So I would strongly encourage, like, the faster you think about speed to lead, the faster you serve somebody, the more likely the first person that interacts with them is the most likely person to get that business. Now, I get this lead and it comes in. There's some prospecting and nurturing capabilities that are out there. And I'm speaking specifically to Andrew, who's not here right now. He's losing internet. But this idea of being able to automate some of that nurturing right away, so they feel the contact. They're like, hey, this thing happens. That's what Marlimar does, is not only that first interaction, but nurturing them along the way, all the way through. And if the case, maybe we don't actually sell them on the first call. It continues to interact with them, and you can, hey, there he is. I think it was his time. We'll see if his internet's working. Hey, we got you back, Andrew. We're talking about right now going from lead gen. They come in to a website and prospecting and nurturing.
So here's my question to all of the salespeople and owners of the groups that are attending with us today. When someone calls you on your cell phone and you don't recognize that number, what are you going to do? You're going to swipe it away. You're going to give it the right-handed swipe. And so what you need to do is you need to send a preemptive text with your logo from the same number that your call center is going to call from. And that will give you 15 to 20% lift on that lead right there. And then after the fact, you get them to get you to call you back. They will call you 50% of the time in that situation. If they've created the lead and you have connected back to them and said, hey, you entered a form on our wonderful Socius, on this wonderful Socius website. We will read that information, that integration that Kate was talking about. We'll read that information from Socius and send a preemptive text that says, we care about you and we're ready to serve you. And somebody from our call center will be calling you. Or if you want to, respond right now and we can set up that call.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And automation, that's a big part of it. How do we make this easier and faster to that whole speed to lead, speed to prospect, speed to close? And how do we take the hurdles out of the way for the client? And so then we get down to now we've got some interaction happening. We've created an appointment, possibly. A lot of that can be done through Marlimar. Am I correct, Andrew?
Yes. Once it is created in your CRM, we're going to pull that CRM information and send a text message that says, hey, you're set for your appointment. And then obviously can go down the chain of that customer experience.
And so that's what I really like about what you guys do is you can pick the touch points as things are happening outside of a CRM, in a CRM, through a website, that you identify the right time and the right message to give them for where they're at in the process. So now we're on an appointment, like we show up, right? Like, hey, we're here and we're going to use some tools while we're here. What would some of that possibly look like? I think this is where a Ingage may come into play. So I show up, I'm like, hey, my name is Jim Johnson. Nice to meet you. I'm from ABC Roofing, and I'm here today for our appointment. I'd like to tell you a little bit about my company before I get started. Do you mind if I show you a little bit about who we are before I hop up on your roof and you know exactly who we are? No, not at all. And boom, I pull out my Ingage presentation, and I just go through the first little part where I'm showing people exactly who we are, who I am, what we've done for their neighbors, not how many roofs have we built, but how many neighbors have we served. I may pull up Project Map It and say, hey, here's a lot of the people around you that we've actually done work with. So right in my Ingage app, creating this experience that they're not getting from anybody else. Would you agree with that, Charlie?
Yeah, absolutely. So a little secret here, if you don't know, and it's all the most successful, scaled, massive companies in the home improvement space, they all do an in-home sales presentation. They sit down where the customer's comfortable, they educate that customer effectively, and they have a process that their sales team can follow through every time, building some consistency and accountability on their team. And what you have to remember is the presentation, as great as a presentation can be, it helps get your sales reps trained quicker. It's really intended for the person sitting across that kitchen table. And most people are visual learners. People love to watch video. They want to know that you guys are going to be the best fit to service their needs for their home. And the best way to do that is to walk them through something visual, something that your sales reps can easily navigate through, build value. So when it comes down to it, as Jim, you like to say, let's just talk about affordability here because you've checked off all those other boxes. And that's a core component of that in-home experience, is that visual, interactive, kind of easy to use presentation that for years has worked. And now there's just an opportunity to leverage more technology to help your buyers learn the way they interact with all the other things they do in a day-to-day interaction with other types of businesses.
And what I love about it is, and it doesn't matter who you are, whatever it is that you're selling, whether it's roofing or epoxy floors or garage doors and windows, you have something that you need to provide as a solution to your customer, and probably some various options to solve whatever problem it is that they're having. And when we do so, we're following this process. We teach this at Top Rep, that there's phases to the sales process, and we're doing something, we're trying to accomplish something, and why we're doing it at the time that we're doing it is really important. And what I love about what Ingage does, while it is absolutely the most amazing way to present because of the way it looks and the flow it allows me to have, if you're using like PowerPoints and Google Slides and stuff like that, that's a very linear presentation. And I may sell more than just roofs. I might have siding and windows and gutters. Well, this person sitting in front of me doesn't need siding. I don't want to skip through a bunch of slides on siding to get to the next thing. I want to be able to just get to the next thing. And that's some of what Ingage does to keep that presentation flowing very smoothly. The other thing I like about it, and probably even more than the way that it actually works in the home, is what I can do from a leadership perspective. I can measure how long people are spending on each page and what's being covered while they're on each page, telling me, hey, this is what my team is finding successful when they're talking. This is maybe what they're struggling with. This is a part of a process that Sally isn't using and Billy is, and Billy's being successful, so I need to work with Sally. But even better, and on top of that, is when you can take the visual aspect of things and overlay the auditory aspect of things, what's actually being said. And that's where Sebastian comes in. Sebastian with Rilla, give us a little idea of what it is that Rilla does. I did a horrible job of explaining it earlier, and how you see the two kind of working with each other to help sales leaders really coach up and train their team to become the top out there in the field.
Great intro, thank you. And just to wrap up on what we were talking about, Ingage, I think it's one of the coolest products I've seen out there. Great design. It's like if you're using a presentation software and you're using PowerPoint, you're basically driving like a 1950s Volvo, and Ingage is like an Audi that just like looks great. It makes it's just a great, just on the feeling of the product alone, and customers feel. I literally have seen customers come up to them on the road saying like, oh my God, like I asked my customer the other day, like, oh, I went to like the site, the location where we were building out the roof. And I say like, oh, why did you go with us? And I was like, oh my God, you have the best presentation. So it's like really, really clean, by the way. So I just wanted to guys give you a shout out because I really like the product. But anyway, so Rilla, what Rilla is a conversation intelligence tool. And conversation intelligence, what it means is when your reps go out there and they talk to customers in the home, while they're doing their Engage presentation on their tablets, Rilla is going to be recording that presentation, right, through the mobile app. And then it's going to be using artificial intelligence to automatically transcribe, analyze, and give you guys and your reps feedback on all of your sales presentations to try to help them improve their sales. And what Rilla is going to be doing is it's going to be looking at, how your reps talk. So how fast they talk, how slow, how much they talk versus the customer, how many engaging questions do they ask in a conversation? How long do they spend doing a monologue like I'm doing right now, right? How long do they let the customer talk? And it looks at what they say specifically. Like, do they talk about pricing? Do they build a rapport with the price? It uses natural language processing to understand what's being talked about. And then it understands the patterns of the top performers in your team. So you think about, you probably have, a small sales team, maybe a middle-sized, large sales team. There's always one or two or three, or, maybe a few top performers that are at the top of their game closing deals. And it's because they work really hard, but also because they have really high quality conversations. So Rilla tries to identify what it is that those top performers are doing day in, day out, so that you can replicate that with the rest of your teams, right? And it starts automatically recommending to your sales reps, like, hey, you probably should talk a little bit slower. That's what Rilla tells me all the time. It's like, Sebastian, you sound like you're hardwired on some like ayahuasca or something. Like you need to talk slower, man. Like because I like talk too fast. And so it's basically like an AI coach in your pocket, telling you how you can fine tune every single possible data point about the way you talk to to improve your chances of selling?
Yeah, when I first saw it, I was first off, I was angry because it was something that I had thought about doing about 7 years ago, and technology just wasn't there yet. But then I was super excited because this is something that has been needed in our field for a long time. And what's cool about it is I've got all these sales reps that work for me. Let's just say you have a team of 5, maybe 10. And like you said, there's always the 20% that are delivering 80% of the actual results, your top reps, right?
Yeah.
As a person in that middle to bottom side of that, I would love to be able to hear what it is they're saying and how they're being successful. But I can't go on a bunch of calls with them, and I might get a few ride-alongs, but I don't understand the nuance of it. Over time with this, I start to hear from those top reps exactly what they're saying and where they're successful based on the results of that interaction. And it's absolutely cool when, first off, that part, then lay it on top of how long I'm spending on the actual visual side of it, it becomes exponentially more powerful. And it doesn't stop right there. It actually stops when we get to the proposal. We're going to put together, like we've given this presentation, we've done some fact finding and objection defeating questions, being a bit of a detective. So we figured out kind of what it is that they want. We're able to deliver our offers, probably a couple of different options, maybe 3. If you're a good, better, best person, if you're more like what we teach at Top Rep, it's the best, and then they would fall back to the rest type of process. But we're going to give some type of proposal. And that's kind of where Leap comes in, right? So Kate, and the neat part about this and why I really like what Rilla does is it's awesome to overlay on what's happening with Ingage, but it's also going to overlay on what's happening with Leap. As somebody gives that proposal, what's happening to help them win that particular proposal. So why is that part so important, Kate?
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about obviously ease of use, but also measurable action, right? Kind of like what we were saying is, yeah, you can go and listen to a bunch of salespeople, and then maybe you get an idea, but Rilla's going to give them that data. Okay, when you're at this point of the presentation, this is going well, and when you're at this point, it's not going well. And where Leap kind of comes in, we are able to take your entire sales process and put it in those measurable steps. So you're on site, you're pulling that customer's data from your CRM directly automatically. That's a measurable step. And if you're not doing that right, you'll have your analytics to kind of help you with that. And then even from your pitch, we integrate with Ingage, so you can pull Engage's presentation right up in there. Maybe you're not optimizing that opportunity enough. Down to creating the proposal or contract, or maybe you're so in the, okay, I have to do step 1, 2, 3, 4. You're not even answering the questions that are being asked. So there's a lot of measurable steps that happen that Leap actually helps you kind of quantify in a way.
Yeah, I love that part about it. And so a lot of contractors, and for the longest time, have been very cash basis. Like, hey, I'm going to go out, I'm going to give you 2 offers. There's kind of the cheap version, the middle version, and then the more expensive version. And me, as the homeowner, I got to figure out how I'm going to come up with that money. And so that's where we get into, if we only have one way to do that, which is a cash thing, maybe we take a down payment and a payment at the end, but still that's a lot out of my budget right away. I could maybe go get a home equity loan and talk to my bank and that kind of stuff. But that puts a hurdle. That puts a hurdle between great presentation, solution given, offer wanted, but I can't afford it. That's where we come in with some options on, hey, if we can't pay for it all cash right now, what can we do? Can we finance part of it, all of it, some of it? And that's where MOMNT comes into play. And so, Mike, I've talked to a lot of guys that talk about finance, and I have never met anybody that explains it quite as well as you do. Can you kind of bring the audience up to speed on the different buyer personas? I think there's 3 of them, and what you might do and how you interact with some of these others that are out there.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that, Jim. Thank you. And look, everyone that's on this call, this is truly a perfect tech stack for your business. And you've created that customer experience to get them to say yes. But what happens at the moment of yes and you present price and it's just not affordable? Then you lose the sale and it's all for naught. And so that's why having a point of sale finance solution is going to move the needle for your business. It's going to get you more business. It's going to increase your ticket size. And Jim, you talked about that cash buyer. And then you talked about the other person who wanted to go to their local bank and take a home equity line of credit. Those are two ways of financing a deal. But what we know is that with today's economy, and as we're having to raise our prices as contractors, having an immediate solution when you're in front of your customer that saves them from having to spend that hard-earned cash that is a disappearing resource, or having to go to that local bank and take that time, that urgency that you've created off the table. That's what a point of sale solution is going to do. And you mentioned the 3 buying behaviors that consumers have. Here at MOMNT, we've created a software solution that allows your customers to have the point of sale solution on the privacy of their own device. We think it's really important at this stage that you've gone to all these measures to get the yes. And then at the one time when you're going to ask for some private information, let's empower them to make the right choice and put their private information on their own device and have that same that experience on their own device. What we do with our pre-approvals is touch those 3 buying behaviors. You have that cash buyer. That cash buyer wants to see a 0% interest rate, right? They want to see a period of time that they don't have to spend their money and they can use your money in order to have the build, to have the job done and enjoy the benefits of this project before they have to actually write the check. Or maybe your price was a little bit higher than their budget. You're going to talk to that promotional buyer with the 0% offer. But then you have those installment buyers. And this is what we're seeing in today's economy is more people are looking for a payment solution in order to order your services today. So if you're offering a payment option that is within their budget, so it's an affordable monthly payment, and you have a plan that has a really aggressive interest rate that may even outperform that line of credit you can get with your bank, if you have all 3 of those offers in front of the customer today, you're going to win their business.
Now, a question for you: whenever they do that, they get approved for a certain amount, right? Like it may not necessarily relate to the actual project price. It's like, hey, you're approved for $50,000 when it's a $25,000 project. This is where it comes in with things like Ugly Roof, like hey, can we do an add-on? Can we do some things there that and maybe the budget isn't in there for a whole new roof or that type of thing, and there's a minor repair going on and the roof looks like crap because it's got algae all over it. I have another option that I can throw out there so I don't just walk away from a sale. And that's really what this is all about. How can I solve the problem best for that customer within a budget that they can afford to truly solve their problem, and be able to walk into the grocery store 2 weeks later and bump into that customer and hold your head high, go over and high five them, shake their hand, that kind of thing, instead of going, oh my God, I hope they don't see me, right? Like that. There's a lot of that happens in the sales world out there. Now, Ty, have you seen people financing the rejuvenation of their roof?
Yeah, definitely. So our product, when we're dealing with the homeowner now, and we go into a house and we use Ingage for our presentation and we use MOMNT for our financing, we have a relationship with both of them that we can help our dealers with. That's some real nice options. We have all the options available for that homeowner. Now we have the lowest priced option, and potentially whatever you are as a contractor, let's say you're the highest price option in your territory. We have every option. When we go into that house, we can help them out, take care of their needs, and sell them something. So we put them at ease when we're in the house.
Yeah, I saw this post. It was on Facebook the other day, and this person had a roof that was, I don't know, 15 years old or so. And so, there's streaks all over it and all that stuff, but it wasn't a full replacement. It was just a repair. They had 20 or so shingles that need to be replaced, and then a little patch area that needed to be done. And the sales rep took a picture of it afterwards, and it's like brand new versus, whoa, that's really ugly, right? The new stuff really sticks out. Do you see opportunity there for Ugly Roof?
So as far as I didn't quite understand that question.
So I'm going to do a repair. Well, I'm
Yes.
not going to go find 15-year-old shingles to do a repair with, right? I'm going to have to go get new shingles. I'm putting on with this 15-year-old roof that has algae stains all over it. They're going to stick out like a sore thumb. Do you see opportunity there to not only sell the repair, but to sell the cleaning of the roof to make it look a lot better than it did before?
So we only work with roofing contractors. And what we do is we teach our dealers we call it refresh, repair, and restore. Every time we go, we clean the roof, but you can't just clean a roof, because when you clean a roof, it actually takes life away. It can dry the roof out. We do the necessary repairs, and then the special sauce is putting the rejuvenation oils back onto those shingles and bringing that shingle back to life. And when you do that, when you take a brand new shingle and you clean an old shingle and rejuvenate it, it's almost a perfect blend. You can't even tell those repairs are even there. We were on a roof yesterday in Florida. Florida right now is a huge market for us because of the new laws that have been passed, and homeowners getting letters stating that they have to either replace their roof, get a contractor to say it can last 5 years, or you lose your insurance. And this was an old school roofer. He's been in business over 45 years and said, I don't believe it. This is not going to rejuvenate this roof. It's not going to make it flexible. It's not going to reattach and reseal this roof. Well, he went back today. We told him wait a week, everything settle. And he went back today, and he's going to be doing a video for it. He's blown away at the transformation and how that entire roof sealed down and blended in, because to answer your question, there was a repair with new shingles on that, and everything blended together.
That's pretty awesome. And so what I wanted to paint a picture there for our audience was how each of these tools, through the progression of the sales process and in an effort to possibly either have something to fall back to or add to with Ugly Roof, that it's a tech step. Like Mike says, all of these things put together give me these tools to optimize and leverage to be the most successful possible. Now, many of you have been to our Top Rep event. Yes, I think Kate, Mike, Sebastian, Ty, Andrew, and Charlie, you've been to the Top Rep event. What would you say is the biggest takeaways that you've seen from that event, from a vendor perspective with the clients that are using your tool and learning what we teach at Top Rep? Go ahead, Andrew. Oh, you're on mute, I think, or we can't hear you.
I had a barking mascot behind me. Sorry. The overall excitement of the attendees throughout the event is what separates it from other events that I go to. It's remarkable to see, some people come in. Maybe they've had their teeth kicked in the sales game for a while, and to steal a word from Mr. Ugly Roof over there, they kind of get a rejuvenation of their sales approach, and so that's what I see, just an overall excitement from the attendees.
To
piggyback off that, I think the thing that Top Rep offers that no other event has offered is what you're doing right now. It's showing, we all come out, we all know each other, we all know what we all do, but showing that journey from start to finish, and then how you can repeat it, and just making it so accessible. I think that's the key point there, is people know they've heard of Leap, right? But they come up to us and they go, now I know where you fit in the picture. So it's something that you really kind of you're almost building that toolkit for them.
Awesome. Any other insight?
You know what, Jim? When I was in the service, we used to say, you're never going to rise to the level of your expectation. You're going to fall down to the level of your training. And that's what I loved about Top Rep, is every step of the way you're doing these breakout sessions where you're having your sales reps, your top reps, train and practice and rehearse each step along the way so that they are ready and prepared for each step of the sales cycle. When they leave there, they feel comfortable with everything they need to do to win the sale.
It's probably my favorite part. You're talking about the dog fights.
Yep.
That's what we call them. That's what has made this event, I think, so unique, is it's for veterans or brand new guys. It doesn't matter. You kind of all have an equal shot at being able to win the title belt. But this idea that you're going to learn those phases, and then you're going to go practice each phase with other members of the audience that aren't necessarily on your team. You're going to hear things from other people. You're going to hear different approaches to it. You're going to get scored on it by your peers. So when you're being scored, you just put in more effort. You just do. If you're just doing a role play practice with somebody else, you're kind of going through the motions. But if somebody's scoring you on you're the best or you're the worst, you're going to put in a little bit more effort. And that's kind of key to that dogfight too, is nobody can earn the same score. Somebody was the best. They're going to get the highest score. Somebody was second, somebody was third, somebody was fourth, and somebody was last. And so those scores get tallied up throughout the entire event. Top 10 walk away with black shirts is the only way to get one, and the number one gets the title belt, which is awesome, by the way. This next one is red, white, and blue. We're in the city of freedom in Philadelphia, and that's what sales really can bring to us. That's what I love about sales more than anything else, is the idea that my potential is only limited by me. The more knowledge I gain, the better I become, the more I master what I do, really and truthfully, the more freedom I start to find, because my success rates are higher, thus my income is better, and I can go do some things that maybe others can't do. And that's what we want to try and help sales reps do. Anything else you guys have seen from Top Rep where you go, that's a bit of a different thing?
I'll call out an experience that I've seen pretty consistently. Is there's a lot of people who come in with their companies, they're excited about their companies, but they haven't figured it out in the field. They're struggling. They're not really sure how to win more deals. And Jim, after coming to one event, these guys have consistently come back. And there's one company out of Texas that really stands out to me. Somebody that was ready to quit sales came in, did 2 days, heads down, ready to learn. And I think by the next meeting, which, was a couple months later, he was the top performer across his company on the sales team. And he came back, and you see that ongoing, and the breakout sessions for owners to say, these are the tools in addition to what your sales reps are learning. It certainly stands out from a lot of the events that we all participate in.
That's the other fun part about it. There's 2 learning tracks. There's a learning track for salespeople where they're going through this Top Rep flight plan that shares these phases and helping them really understand why they're doing what they're doing. So if they don't necessarily remember every word we said, as long as they stay on the flight plan knowing why they're doing what they're doing, they're going to perform really well. But there's also a whole nother track for the sales leaders. While the salespeople are in dogfights, they're on their own learning track, learning from a lot of you folks on not just how your software or tool works, but they're learning sales leadership. They're learning sales motivation. They're learning how to get more out of their teams. And there's sales events out there, but most of them feel like sales events where the gurus are talking at you, and hopefully you leave and take that and go do something with it. We hope that we're actually teaching you, training you, coaching you, and implementing with you what it is that you learn. So when you walk away with some confidence. So awesome job today. Last thing I'm going to ask you guys, why do you sponsor Top Rep?
We love we are basically, our company thinks that sales is a highly competitive sport, and salespeople are just highly competitive athletes that play with their voices. And I think we see Top Rep as like when you have like those basketball boot camps where like the best of the basketball players get together for like a summer, and they do a summer camp. And that's like where, like when Michael Jordan was young, he got to like show off his skills against everybody else. And that's where you like get to see like the best of the best players. So yeah, we're looking for top superstar sales people that could use tools to help them as well. And if you're like new to sales as well, like trying to get there, Top Rep is the place to be there for us. So we love going.
I couldn't agree with you more that sales is a competitive sport. I wish that they had it like on TV. I'd probably watch it. Hey, maybe there's an idea. Hey, we should get together and have the the competitive sales league, CSL.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot of fun to watch. Anybody else?
Yeah, for us, to be able to, when you go to a conference or a show, to have a booth is one thing, but to be able to speak to the owners and communicate with them, to explain exactly what you're doing and how you're doing it so that they fully understand your product and your services, and knowing that you can help them. I think out of your first show, we signed half of the dealers there to help them in this process. So it's invaluable to be able to give your message and not just hope that somebody comes by your booth.
Yeah, it's not a pitch fest either, though. The point is to show the value behind what it is that you do, and then if you think that's a good fit for you, then have further conversation at your booth, or on a demo later, that type of thing. We're not here to sell you a bunch of stuff. You've already paid your money to come and do something, right? Which is to come and learn how to be a better salesperson, ideally a top rep. So it's not going to be something where we're pitching you from the stage, come buy this thing, come buy that thing, come buy this thing. We want to put those things in front of you so you have the information you need to make good decisions for your business. So awesome. Thanks, Ty. Anybody else? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Jim, I was going to jump in there. I think you touched on it there. It's about education. Your audience is here because they're great at what they do and they want to get better. And we're big believers. Everybody on the screen is a big believer in education. And when you educate people properly, you're going to be firmly entrenched with them. They're going to remember who you are. That's a big reason we love sponsoring Top Rep, is the education that you bring to your audience.
Sweet. Cool. Awesome stuff. Anybody else?
Yeah, look, there's so many process-driven portions of the whole Top Rep experience, especially in those owner breakouts where we're talking higher level process-driven things, and that's where we like to fit in. If I can get my ears open and listen to how companies are doing things through process, and I can recreate that using my technology, I've won in that situation, because I'm going to improve and be a better provider to my clients.
Yeah, the exciting part about this is we've done several Top Reps, and we kind of look at those as like kickoff events. Like usually they happen in the spring, and it's the dialogue and the situation is different earlier in the year versus the end of the year. And so this concept of Top Rep Rush is all about, hey, we're here to win a championship, and we got the ball, and we got to get it across the goal line at the end. And I always got really frustrated as an owner because we'd come out of the gate strong, right? Like, this idea of March, April, May, June, really great, kind of hit the dog days of summer. And then the last part of the year would be, it'd be a little better than summer, but not quite what spring was. And I wanted to flip that dynamic. And what I found out through lots of study, getting my own coaches and things like that, is the situation has changed. While the concept is still the same, this flight plan, this thing that you're going through with your customers, what it is that they want and need, the fear, the important reasons for them making a choice has changed. Early in the year, it's a home makeover. They come out a winner. They're excited about doing some new things with their house and those type of things. Then summer hits. We got vacations, back to school, and all that other good stuff. It's hot. Sales guys don't want to get out there and do the work sometimes. But we killed it at the beginning of the year. That homeowner, their reason for buying shifts whenever it gets after Labor Day. We got winter coming. I got to get this work done that I said I was going to get done. I procrastinated forever. And the dialogue changes. It's still same process, but the words and communication starts to change. And then the motivation of the team by the leaders also changes. It could be two different reasons. One is we're way behind on our targets that we're getting to. So how do we shift that to get to our targets? And they could be we're way ahead. Like, we're way ahead. All my salespeople have killed it. They got what we call fat wallet syndrome. They got a bunch of money, done great. I don't have to work hard anymore because I've accomplished my financial goals. But if we can flip that dynamic a little bit more competitive, we change what happens at the end of the year. And that's one of the things I'm excited about on the leadership track is I'm going to teach them what we did to keep people motivated and competitive at the end of the year. Money was a byproduct. We weren't even worried about money anymore. We were worried about something else, and that was winning. And we're going to teach this tool that completely changes that dynamic. The numbers will go through the roof. And once we install that, so for the last 6 years of my business, we had that installed. The best time of the year for us was September, October, November. Absolutely just murdered it. And we want to teach other people how to do that. So that's why Top Rep Rush is a little bit different. I'm excited for the guys that are here and the gals that are here for as sponsors to see that difference, to see it, have them go, oh, that is different. So it's going to be a lot of fun to do that with you guys. Any parting notes, comments, shots, anything like that? Make fun of the host, whatever you want to do? Yeah, go ahead.
I would never make fun of you. But I did want to say, as someone who was a newcomer to the industry, that the education piece, it's non-competitive in the sense that we're not holding secrets back when you're at this, where I find that most events you hold those secrets back. I've learned more about the industry as a newcomer from those events than from an IRE, which, I mean, you'd think you would learn a lot, right? But I didn't.
No, it's kind of a big trade show with a bunch of booths, and you talk to a bunch of people and you hopefully parse out some information, maybe take some of their learning tracks, but where do you apply them, right?
Yeah. Also, Jim gives a really good tutorial on how he does his hair.
Oh, yeah. It's just literally like I use, for lack of a better term, a pet shaver and shave your head and go with it, right? So we're good to go. Zero, no guard on it. Take it down. Pretty easy. I look at it this way. I save myself about $25. Every time I go get my hair cut, I stack that back and go buy something cool that I really want with it. So it's pretty fun. All you guys with hair, you don't get to get the cool stuff I get because you have to go get your hair cut.
Well, dinner on Jim then.
Yeah, I
save so much money.
He's been saving that money.
Yeah, so hold on after the show. I want to talk to you guys about that for just a second. If you can hang out for just a second. Thank you for being here today. You guys are awesome. We really appreciate your support of what we do at Top Rep. We truly hope that it is something different for salespeople, that the knowledge is top notch, that the experience is something like you would not believe going to most of the events that you go to. Everything for us is, we don't want you to come to an event and hear a bunch of talking heads, take a bunch of notes and not do anything with it. We want to give you the workbooks that go along with it, the tools that go along with it, a roadmap of how to implement it and be successful with it, so that when you walk away, there's no guesswork. It's just go do and truly master your craft as a salesperson. So thanks for being here today, guys. I'm going to put you back in the green room. Hold on for just a second. We'll close the show out. Thank you all. You're amazing.
Bye.
All right, so that was our show today here at Contractor Radio. I hope you learned something new. I hope you learned a little bit about how you can apply different pieces of technology and tools to your business and do them in an order that makes sense. Like there's a process to this, and using the right thing at the right time for lead gen, prospecting and nurturing, creating credibility, delivering an amazing presentation, setting yourself apart from everybody else so that you're the expert and that you have something unique and proprietary, delivering your offers in the right way that makes it more likely for them to become your customer. And then finally, getting the referrals and reviews and those things that you need to truly not only boost like your web presence, but to boost your revenue and profitability, because referrals are the highest return on investment of anything that you can get out there. Thank you for joining us on this week's Contractor Radio. We look forward to our next episode with you guys. Get out there, get control of your business so you can grow that business and find that personal and financial freedom that you're chasing. If you want to find out more about Top Rep and learn a little bit, you can go to topreptraining.com. We're going to leave you with a coupon code. The word RUSH 100 will save you $100 per attendee that you send just for listening to our show today. We hope to see you there. We will blow your socks off with what we do. And if we don't do a good job, you walk up to me and say, that was terrible, I want my money back, I'll give it to you on the spot, no questions asked. We believe in what we do, and we believe it's the best out there. available for you to drive your sales team, and lead in a way that you might not have led before. If you want to find out more of what we do here at Contractor Coach Pro, go to contractorcoachpro.com, click on the button that says Talk to a Coach, and schedule some time with one of our coaches. And then last but not least, everybody that was on this call today, we will have a link to them in our show notes. Make sure you click those links on the ones that may have spoken to you and feel like you want to find out more about them. I know that none of them charge you for talking to them, so go out, do your research, find the right thing for you to grow, scale your business, and get that freedom you're chasing. Thanks a lot, everybody. We'll catch you on our next episode.